So I think I mean, could be mistaken, but I think there comes a time in probably a lot of missionaries' mission where it's kind of like a low point of your mission where you're struggling emotionally or spiritually, just having a hard time. Could be with the language, could be with trying to obey all the mission rules, could be personal struggles. It could be a myriad of things. For me, that point, I mean, there's a lot of struggles on the mission, but for me, it was kind of more towards the end of my mission, and there was just a low point in my mission where we had just had kind of like a golden investigator family that like went against the church, like went kind of anti, and it was just so heartbreaking because they loved us and we taught them so much. We brought over almost, half the ward or more than the half the ward into their house, and vice versa. They came to all the activities. They were reading the Book of Mormon, and then one day they just had read like some incorrect anti-Mormon literature online, and they didn't give us a second chance. They're just like, you know what, we think you're of the devil now or something like that, and they just kind of shunned us and wouldn't talk with us. And their kids used to love us, but they were told not to talk with us, and it was heartbreaking. And I was thinking, I'm like, that's so sad. I'm like, I was wondering, if everything I'd been doing on my mission really amounted to much, if it had blessed anyone's life. Because here it was, the family I thought was helping the most, they went totally against us. And it was really hard. And I was thinking, I'm like, this is such a sad way to end my mission. Um, anyway, as I was struggling, I remember one day when I was praying in my mind, or as we were walking or something, in my mind had this thought of just like a young man who would be a strength to the ward, who would be very talented and kind of like add a lot to the ward, like contribute a lot, and not be someone that has to be looked after maybe as much, but would kind of contribute and look after others. And anyway, I had that kind of feeling, and I remember one day we were walking by the Anonyma, La Anonyma. It's kind of like the Walmart there. It's a French store. Anyway, as we were walking by, there was a very, quickly walking young man walking by us quickly, and I was hesitating whether or not to stop him. There was some street construction; it was kind of loud, and anyway, decided to stop him, and I'm so glad I did. And talked with him. His name is Bruno, great guy, and asked him if we could, teach him about the gospel, bring him into church, and we did. And yeah, he was very excited and he wanted to be a member of the church. He actually also spoke English very well, very intelligent college student. Um, and this was just a couple weeks before I finished my mission. And Bruno got baptized, I believe, a couple weeks after I left, after I finished my mission. But he was just the most wonderful investigator. He's such a good guy. Um, and for me, I think Heavenly Father, when prayers are answered, they're not always answered in the way that we expect them. But I think we can recognize the Lord's hand and He can give us messages in His way. And for me, what that meant, kind of how I felt at the end of my mission, with the experience of finding Bruno, is, Elder Belinsky, you're not perfect, but you've tried hard on your mission. I don't want you to go home depressed. Know that I love you. Your mission wasn't a waste. Go home happy. Be happy. And it changed the whole course of my mission. Just that last couple of weeks, I felt reinvigorated with energy, and I felt the Lord had answered my prayer in finding Bruno. And yeah, if I had the chance to say something to Bruno, because I know he's online, I would say that just to continue faithful, to go to church and to pray, read the scriptures. If you feel it's right, serve a mission, because the gospel's true. I know there's lots of reasons I wrote for you, but the gospel is true, and I know it will bless your life. And yeah, and I love you. And anyway, so that was an experience I had that I treasured, and that kind of helped me out at the end of my mission.